All right, should have taken a before video, but customer brought me this tube off of his grain bin. This is off the bin sweep spout out, and as you can see, she is completely rotten on the inside, just for moisture sitting on the inside. Cut it all apart, obviously. Yeah, some severe damage there. He had duct tape on it, trying to hold it together for another season. But yeah, so essentially, typically on stuff like this, I ask them to talk to the manufacturer, see if they can get a replacement, because it would be cheaper than making a custom built one, but could not find one. So he brought me a full length 10-inch tube, which I have obviously cut. I cut that ring out and cut a slice in it and put it around to get my angle. This I just, that was a plate that was on the old one. I just remounted it. I'm not actually sure if that's for a bearing for the flighting or if this is a mounting hole. And on the other side, I cut the new opening to empty out the bin. The cover plate was rotten, so I actually cut a new cover plate from that old existing tube. So that'll go on there, cover it up, empty it out in the fall when you're done, or whenever you're done emptying the bin, I guess. That's ready to get welded on. He had purchased a galvanized piece. I'm assuming you got it somewhere in town. But I cut this ring off, hoping to just be able to weld this on to there. But since this piece isn't actually a tube, it's just a ring that they must have put in a machine and made around welded. It's not actually a perfect circle. So when I went to go put it on, it was way off from this one. So then I ended up having to cut another slice off that tube to make my other piece. As I get one on, and then I'm just grinding the weld off here, and I will reuse this this mounting lip. It's not bad. Like where the tube was is obviously rotten, but I'll cut this tube out, take the old piece out, and that'll be ready to weld on to that piece. And then, yeah, we'll put it all together. It should be a perfect match. Stuff like this, he did point out to me, like, it's obviously important that these holes all line up. So that's why these bolts are in here. I put my level on there, make sure that I'm true. And then I have, where is it? Oh, here it is. I have this thing. So you put it on whatever angle you want. So obviously now I want 0. So you put it on top of the tube, and then you find your top dead center. This is a punch. You just hit that with a hammer, and that's how I got my top dead center for this. And you can tell right there, that's my top dead center for the narrowest part of the angle. So now I'll be able to, yeah, take that other piece, weld it onto here, and then take that ring, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll put 2 bolts in there, make sure that I'm perfectly flat to the other mounting surface. And yeah, she should be ready to get installed after that. There we go, piece is all done. There's the opening, the new cover. I cut off the old auger, reuse these plates to put it back together, and the tightening bolt. Yeah, reuse this flange off the old one. And yeah, everything's straight. So this hole to that hole to that hole, everything's in line. So it should slot back in. On jobs like this, I always suggest the customer reach out to the original manufacturer, because they probably build however many at a time. So they're a lot cheaper than me custom building one of these. And any job like this where a existing product is out there, I generally suggest to call and see if they can get a replacement piece. Especially in a small town like this where I do a lot of farm work, I don't want my customers wasting their money on a custom fab piece because in the end, it's going to come to bite you in the ass. This guy, I'm sure, would have been a lot cheaper getting one. He called the manufacturer, couldn't get a replacement piece. They didn't have one on the shelf, so I don't know if it was just an older design and they just don't have any more parts for this. But he wasn't lucky there, so then we had to custom build this one. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot more expensive than if you would have got it from them. But we're getting close to harvest, and he wants this in the bin before he starts filling it. So it's kind of a let's do it now. Doesn't really matter the cost kind of situation. But there are jobs like I'll replace light boxes on the back of trailers. I did one last week. The whole back bumper was rotten. He called the manufacturer, got one in. It was $700. But for me to build that bumper, I would have probably been well over $1,000 to get the piece of material and then custom cut all the holes for the lights and yada, yada, yada. It turns out to be a much bigger bill. This way, stuff like that, I could just cut out, replace. There's still the expense of cutting it out, putting a new one in. But once it's done, I mean, that trailer's going to last for another 20, 30 years. He's not going to see that problem again. The rest of the trailer will be rotten before it's done. Same thing like this. I'm assuming this was on this bin for years and years and years. So he's never replacing this again. But I try to save money wherever I can with these guys, just because you don't want to be the guy who goes, yep, I'll take every job, doesn't matter. And then later on they find out, well, I could have just bought the piece for whatever, $200-300, and you charged me $1,000 some. It's just good customer relation for me. I don't want to be the guy who, like I said, charges the big bill for nothing. This guy, like I said, we went through the avenues we couldn't find anything, so here we are. We built a custom one. It's done now. You can put it on, and he'll be ready for harvest. If by any chance he does find a new tube from the manufacturer, well, he knows we tried and we got it done, and at least at harvest he's ready. I just don't like leaving questions like that on the table because it'll kind of bite you in the ass. You don't want to be the guy in a small town who upcharges and doesn't give options. Same thing with like gussets or whatever for farm equipment. Some manufacturers find out there's problems with their equipment and they'll have a gusset kit for it. So instead of me taking out the plasma table and cutting out a bunch of gussets and him paying for my labor and the design and cutting up these pieces when they could have got it for, half, if not less of the price, right from the manufacturer, and just pay me to weld them on. Yeah, that's just my little bit on, talking to your customers about finding something that's already been manufactured.